All right, let's get some more footwork in and keep that trainer going. So remember, let's start with our review. Don't even worry about the sword yet. Dominant side in front, weak side behind, feet slightly wider than shoulders width, knees bent to an exercise level. If you're practicing, you can have a more comfortable bend if you realize you need to sustain a fight, right? When we're moving forward, front leg starts it, back leg follows, step, step, but we're gonna make it one smooth motion. So again, moving forward, advance, step, step. Same move in reverse when we're retreating, back leg starts it, front leg follows, step, front leg follows, step. So again, retreat, step, step. And remember that value of your staying level, staying even, right? You can do this trick with your sword, get it to where it touches the floor, then lift it slightly up, and then you can take that step, and if you hit the floor, you know you're going down, right? Step, step. Get those good advance retreats. We reviewed how to do it. Let's do a warm-up with it. We'll add some other steps to it and talk about making sure you are consistent and can vary. So, I always like to use a sword because swords are awesome, and it helps you build that mindset of practice how you play. So with our good on guard, let's get our first set of footwork. Simple advance retreat. Advance, advance, retreat, retreat, advance, retreat, advance, advance, retreat, advance, retreat, retreat, advance, retreat, advance, advance, retreat, 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 advance, advance, retreat. Shake it out real quick. Hopefully you kept up with that. Good for the sword muscles. Starts to get that warm up too for all your joints. Remember, we've talked about warm up. It's critical to not hurt yourself to have a good warm up. All right. So right now, I want you to focus on having that consistent footwork. Always getting about the same amount in an advance and a retreat. Always having roughly the same distance. It's not a perfection thing. It's not what we're going for. But you want to know your distance when you move. You also want to know the second aspect of this, how to manipulate that distance. Do I want to take a slightly farther step but look like I'm moving the same? Do I want to take a slightly shorter step but look like I'm moving the same? So remember, when you're doing this, especially think about it with your parries, right? When we're doing one of our parries, we always want to take a step back, but it is not a full retreat most of the time. There are always circumstances where you can apply everything, right? But for a general parry, we want to add a half step back. So again, notice here, I'll use you know what, I'll just put the sword down next to me so you can see. When I'm at the hilt of my sword, right, you can see the distance here. When I take a standard step back, I am coming to about there, right? That's about the full length of my foot. Advance, same deal. I should close to about the same beginning part I was. Retreat, I should be about the same spot. Advance, I should be about the same spot, right? I've got a consistent step here. This is something you want to have. But if I want to get that parry as I step, I don't want to take a full retreat to get that parry, right? So when I'm doing this, I want to show you guys that you just need to have the difference with that half step when you're getting a general parry, right? So if I'm in my on-guard and I'm going to come to a basic crossbody parry, a parry 4, I don't need to take that full retreat, I need to take a half step back. And now when you get your half step back, you want to come about half the distance, about half the distance. So getting to a consistent point, make that parry with that half step back. So now I'm not where I was anymore, but nor am I here, right? I'm making that half step back, just half. And again, it's not like there's not a strong math to this. It must be this exact thing. You want a shorter step than a full retreat. If I'm here and I need to step back, retreat, I go that far. I need to advance, I go that far, right? If I want to do a half step back when I parry, I'm going to do my parry and not step as far, right? Just not as far. That way you're still able to re-engage your opponent if they leave themselves open in their attack. But you still benefit from giving yourself more time to catch that parry. So remember, when you're doing your parries, half step back. Boom, 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 boom. Get those half step back. They don't need to be full retreats. If I were doing full retreats, I'd run out of room really fast. If I'm doing my parries, retreat, retreat, and I'm already way off, right? Make sure you have that half step back in your arsenal. Second thing, if you have to take a longer than average step. We've talked about this before, we're just going to go over it. Make sure you see it again. Then we'll add additional footwork. We'll get to the crossover for today. We'll add ghost stepping, the long step, half stepping, the shortened step, and crossover footwork to our current regime. Always good to keep your feet under you, right? So when I'm doing standard advancing, you know what, I'll leave this down here again, but I'll switch the angle so you can see. When I do a standard advance, boom, boom, and I've come about that far, standard retreat, boom, boom. I'm about where I began, right? Now to get my ghost step, my extended step, when I step, instead of just kicking off and then stepping in, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to rotate my ankle up to give myself slightly additional thrust forward, gives me more movement, right? So when I do my ghost step, everything looks the same. Same with the half step back. They look the same, but the distance changes, right? I know I gotta get a little closer. I don't wanna advance in all slow, right? So I'm gonna give that ghost step to change my distance. And as I do, I rotate the back one. Now I'm in like a lunge because I'm holding this position to show you what it looks like. You're not gonna hold this position, it's one movement. And then you recover, right? So when I want to get that ghost step, everything stays the same. I keep my balanced body centered, but I step farther than usual by getting that rotation off the back of my foot. So standard advance, advance, retreat, ghost step advance, and I can do the same thing in reverse, but I like to rotate my foot up a little bit. That generates a bit of a telegraph. You can do it off the balls of your toes. Find the one that's more comfortable for you, the one that matches how you move, right? We're not all the same. Find the one that works for you. So when I go step in my retreat, getting that long retreat, I add that step off with my heel. Oh man, right? So I've got my regular advance, my regular retreat, my ghost step advance, my ghost step retreat. Okay, same with the half step. You can obviously, if you can half step back, you can half step forward. They work the same way. Now let's get our crossover footwork, and then we'll do a practice with it. Crossing over, we're gonna break it down to parts. It's not done this way. It's done fluidly so you don't find yourself in a position of off balance when your opponent is hitting you. I'm going to take my cross step forward. I'm going to take my back leg, cross it forward. Now my heels remain on the line, just like they do when I'm good fencing, right? And then I step through with my foot. So one more time. Cross forward, step. Here's where you're off balance. This is why you don't hold this. This is a fluid motion. Step. Cross back's the same move in reverse. The front leg comes behind. See how you can still see my knee? Don't do this thing, okay? Stepping back, again, moment of off balance, follow through. So cross forward, 1, 2, cross back, 1, 2. But we want to remove that point of off balance. So make sure you do it in a fluid motion, having a cross forward, cross, cross back, cross. If you need to close a lot of distance in a short amount of time, crossing forward or backward is an excellent way to do this while maintaining all the good concepts of footwork, balance, swordplay, right? We're still keeping all of our core mechanics in alignment while we move this way. So let's go ahead and practice a few together. And again, check your space. If you get thrown off because you're tripping on stuff in your living room, either move it or accommodate. Feel free to readjust and do it again. The whole goal of practice is to get better. So, on guard. And let's just warm up with our advance. Another, advance, retreat, retreat, retreat. Now let's do our half steps. Half step forward, half step forward, half step forward, half step forward. Back, half step back, half step back, half step back, half step back. Cross forward. And here I have to make sure, because I got a couch in the way, I gotta like turn my sword and stuff. Cross forward, nice fluid, right? Cross back, cross forward, cross back. Now throw them off. Make sure you're able to do these in different motions. So, advance, 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 cross back. Watch yourself with your surroundings. Advance, half step back, half step back, cross forward, half step back, retreat, go step back, take that extended step back, advance, advance, half step back, go step forward, get that extra long step, go step back, go step forward, cross back, advance, advance, retreat, half step forward, go step back, long step, cross forward. Rotate what you're doing. If you kept up with what we did right there, good practice for your footwork. Start to feel that cardio warm-up happening. And remember, if you're compromising your balance for this, or if it felt difficult to match the footwork right now, then you want to practice this more. If you can get your 5 minutes a day in on this, you will see a lot of improvement. But remember, footwork is critical. It is a grounding foundation of fighting, and I don't care what art you do, right? So make sure you're practicing. Let me know if you got any questions in the comments below. It helps me make these videos. Otherwise, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.